Good afternoon, Jets Nation. Welcome to the Jude Jet Show, and the 11th day of training camp is now over, so let's go ahead and talk about everything that happened in today's practice. So let's start off with our daily Zach Wilson update. So while he didn't practice today, we did find out he's going to be having knee surgery on Tuesday in Los Angeles. So there's still hope he can play week 1, and hopefully nothing goes wrong in the surgery, so make sure to keep him in your prayers. And if he doesn't return week 1 against the Baltimore Ravens, Joe Flacco can have his revenge game. And speaking of Joe Flacco, how did he do in practice today? You know, Joe Flacco's been balling out this entire training camp working with the second team. Now he's finally getting some first team reps. Did he keep up the same momentum? And honestly, he did. While he didn't make any highlight reel plays, he completed 16 of his 19 passes. Did throw an interception, though that interception did go to Bryce Hall, who's also been having a pretty solid camp. I want to say Bryce Hall leads in New York just in interceptions right now, at least has 5. I mean, Bryce Hall's just been having a standout camp, and it's good to see that he's improved on, getting interceptions, because as our starting quarterback, he had 0 last season. But just a solid practice from Joe Flacco. Now, who got sacks today? Michael Clemens did get 1. Michael Clemens is continuing this amazing performance. I mean, he honestly might end up being the steal of this year's draft, because he had a really good performance in the preseason game against the Eagles, and now he's over here getting sacks, and he's gotten sacks on, I wouldn't say a consistent basis, but has gotten a fair amount of them so far in training camp. So we're going to see big things from Michael Clemens in the future, 100%. Jermaine Johnson also got a sack in today's practice, almost had 2 sacks, but Joe Flacco quickly threw it away before Jermaine Johnson got to him. And Jermaine Johnson's almost sack on Joe Flacco, he put a nasty spin move on Max Mitchell, just a nasty one. And then Quentin Williams also got a sack. This dude gets a sack pretty much every single training camp practice. He was in the backfield like every single play in that preseason game against the Eagles. I mean, this dude's going to be something you don't want to mess with. Calvin Jackson had a pretty nice performance in training camp today. Had some nice catches. Had 1 catch where Streveler, the 3rd-string quarterback, now with Zach Wilson being out, overthrew him, but Calvin Jackson jumped up and caught it. And this dude's 5'9". Like, he's been having a really good training camp, had a really good performance in the preseason game, caught the game-winning touchdown. I mean, just good stuff from Calvin Jackson, and it's so impressive that Calvin Jackson's doing all this, because he wasn't originally an undrafted free agent. Like, while we ended up signing him, we brought him on as a workout player. We didn't even give him an undrafted free agent contract. He got on as a workout after the draft, and we ended up signing him, and now he might make the 53-man roster. Awesome story. Now, for those who are wondering what's going on in the offensive lineman room, well, George Fant was back at right tackle today, and Dwayne Brown is going to be coming in tonight to sign his contract. He had to deal with some family issues, but now he's going to be in the Jets building tomorrow and hopefully practices. So to fill in that left tackle role, Max Mitchell and Grant Herman swapped out. Chuma Edoga wasn't at practice today, and Grant Herman's got into a fight with Carl Lawson. And while Grant Herman's probably isn't ever going to start, it's good to see that we have just a fighter on the offensive line, someone who's going to stand up for your quarterback if a dirty hit happens or any of that. If there's trash talk, Grant Herman's is not going to let it fly by. I mean, this is a huge dude, and he's probably not going to ever start, but just to see that we have a guy in the offensive line room like that, and maybe he can spread that energy to other offensive linemen, is just good to see. But that's all that happened in today's practice. What are you guys' thoughts on it? I'm your host, Jude, signing off for now. See you guys later. Peace.